All right, so we live again. We're live again here at the shop. What's up, everybody? My name's Dan. This is Neo Mustangs and my Pox Body Mustang channel. Thanks for tuning in. Tonight we're going to be just trying to stay motivated during the build season. Figured I would go live. Haven't been live in a couple weeks, so I miss y'all. You know, miss talking to you guys on live. So yeah, we are going to just kind of just a shop talk, tech talk. Live weekend. We're not going to really get into any sort of big tech discussion like specifically. So we're just going to talk some Fox body shit. So it's good to see everybody. What's up, Ryan Cox, Tyler Wright, Andy? Was that Friadas? Does that sound right? Big shout out to the guys in green. Those are my club members. If you guys are curious to what want to give something back to the channel, whatever, check out the join button below. If you want to be a member of the channel to get exclusive content to the channel that I normally don't release and discussions, etc. So big shout out to my sponsors: Handler Motorsports, Stiflers, Team Z, Anderson Ford Motorsports, Craig Automotive, TI Dyno, Dave Dolk, etc. So thank you guys. Anyways, gotta stay motivated, guys. I'm not gonna even lie to you. I mean, the reason why I brought this onto the live stream tonight is I've been struggling. I mean, not the fact that I don't want to do like work or whatever. It's just been the work that I've been doing has just been so taxing as far as like, just patience and motivation. And it's getting to the point that it's like I'm just tired. I spend all weekend this past weekend with the black car on the dyno. If you guys are following me on Instagram and you're part of the the club members knew I was there a couple of days ago, and the car's actually still there, and there's a reason for it, and it's going to be coming up in the videos this week. There really wasn't a reason why we went to the dyno outside of just testing the exhaust housing on the black car, but there was a couple issues that came up. We fixed one, another one came up, fixed that, another one came up, and it just got to the point to where it makes for a good live stream. I know you guys are out there too, struggling as well, like I am. It's build season for the most part. I think even in the warm states, some of the tracks shut down for 2 or 3 months anyways. So, it gives you a chance to hit that reset button, that motivation button, if you want to call it that. I just know I got a lot of shit to do here on the channel and can't waste any time. You know what I mean? So, what's up, Carlos? What's up, Fat Boy Fox? What's up, 650 Motorsports? Cruising around in the tube and got a notification. I appreciate you stopping in, Edgar at 650. You guys out there in the West Coast. Actually, you guys need to go check out 650's YouTube channel. He's got some pretty good. He's doing really well with his content. He actually got one of the exhaust housings that we've been talking about this week on one of our videos with the black car. So we got a chance to test it. So it's going to be like a tale of two housings. If you guys are a turbo guy and have turbos on your Fox bodies or cars in general, whatever, definitely was stuff that needs to be talked about with those housings. So stick around with that. Plus, we got another video coming up with the coupe build, I think, this week. If you guys get a chance to check out the one on Friday, I encourage you to go check that out. Josh is kicking ass on that car, and the car's going to be a lot nicer than I expected it to be. Anyways, what's up, Stingman 78? What's up, Matt Wright? Trent Heyman, what's going on? 650, you about ready? Yeah. Let me tell you what, man, 1,000 horsepower. What happens when you make horsepower? What happens when you go too much? Go faster. Other things change. Got to address those things too. That's kind of what I was dealing with this past weekend. Wasn't very good. What's up, Fox Boosted Body? What's up, man? 650. All right, so like I said, tonight we're just going to be talking about things that are going on the channel news. Obviously, it's a tech, it's a shop talk, so I want to address any sort of comments or concerns as far as like, maybe you guys might be stuck on something outside of motivation itself, like myself. Might want to talk about Fox body stuff. Jimmer Willie, what's up, y'all? I made my buddy bring his 351 turbo build to my house. He quit working on it and didn't want to see it sit. So did you end up buying it or you're putting it together for him? What's up, Dom? I seen that Budget build Dom, I seen your car back on the floor. That's pretty awesome. So that means you must have got your axle upgraded, right? Tell you what, man, you can't be launching on that car and on some sticky at the track and playing on those stock axles lasting. But you got to fix the thing, right? What's up, Bama 50? What's up, Ford guy Mike? What's up, Nick? Anyways, just to give you guys an idea what's going on, we did make a change with the 387 this past weekend. It's not really a significant change, but we're putting that motor together. Like, that's like one of my next videos. We got actually 2 motor videos coming out. One where obviously when you get Lamar's motor, for instance, when you get a motor that you haven't put together yourself, you never really know what's inside of it. So I did want to go back over that motor in a video, good, bad, or indifferent, just to make sure that when it leaves my shop, it's ready to go. But anyways, the 387 actually is going into since you guys are here in the live, I'll just let you know that it's going into a different vehicle now. So we did have it slated to go into a build that we had going on, that kind of a secret thing that we weren't telling anybody. So we ended up changing that idea this past weekend, and it's actually going to go in a car a lot sooner. So we got to make a push on the car, push on the build. Get the long block together, get everything, get the valve lash set up, get the valve covers and the lower intake set up so we can drop it in one of the cars that we got going on. So Carlos, just cleaned up the engine, the garage again, waiting for some funds for some stuff I'm missing to finish my build. I've been trying to focus on free mods. Now, so that's a good thing we could talk about real quick, folks. During the build, one of the things that could probably motivate you the most, and I think that, I do a good job with it on a daily basis, is setting aside time. Like, you have to be here doing something at this time. So like this past weekend, I had my kids. It was the family weekend. We went bowling, we went to the movies. I had a great time, man. I spent a lot of time with my kids and fam and friends. But I cut everything off that I was doing at like 5 o'clock Friday, Saturday, and pretty much today, just so I could do that. You know what I mean? And one of the toughest things with being motivated during the build season is trying to balance money and family. And time, like I've talked about this before, but I can't reiterate enough. Time is probably your number one currency, especially with me being 45 years old and getting older. I ain't getting any younger. Some of you younger guys that are getting into the Fox body generation, or just getting into professionalism with your job or whatever. Time is probably the number one currency, because you can't buy that. You can't get it back. So that's why I'm always pushing, get your car off the jack stands. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if you're just going to sit there and stare at it, it's never going to get done by itself. And even if you don't have the optimal parts, like, definitely don't have optimal parts available for the most part. Being able to set aside time and be motivated to actually finish your project, whether it's mowing the lawn or putting a set of heads out on Fox body. It's tough to do, but I mean, the best thing to do is to write it down. Just like I write things down. Like, between 11 and 2 Saturday, I got to put the turbo housing on my Fox body. You see what I mean? So, and I did exactly that. It went a little bit over because there was some issues, but staying motivated is probably the toughest thing. Nope, I'm putting the motor together and he's painting my car. Okay, so you're going to do the mechanical part and he's going to do work for you on the paint. That's a nice exchange. There you go. Just got mine out of paint, and wow, it's significantly different. So happy how it came out. So, that's where I'm at right now, Gary. I'm not even going to lie to you. I mean, and that's why I got the coupe here in the thumbnail. Like, I jumped into this SSP build. Like, I'm not backtracking whatsoever. That's not what I'm talking about here. But I jumped into this. I knew that I mean, even wrote it down on my little pad at home. I'm like, I'm going to finish this car. I'm going to finish this car. And it's like, you know, as soon as I see the paint, though, I'm going to be honest with you. As soon as I see the car actually change in front of me, you know, just make it look better. You know what I mean? It's why I decided. I mean, outside the fact it was already in shell form, it's why I decided to get it painted, because I'm going to like that car more than and be more motivated to get it, you know, to get it put back together. You know, when the parts come in, get the cage done, and you know, I'll have a motor ready for it when it's ready to go. So I get that, man. I get that a lot, Gary, for real. Does anyone use the tweaker? Man, I haven't seen somebody use the tweaker in a long time. The tweaker, whatever. What's up, Steven Spangler? Appreciate you joining the channel tonight. Welcome to the membership. Now, remember, I think you can. I think we can gift memberships now too. So if somebody wanted to actually check out our membership, I think that other members can gift it or something like that. And it's like a one-time thing. So I didn't know if anybody knew what that was. Have any experience with turbo 2.3s? No. Be straight honest with you, I have not. Never really got into the whole four-cylinder thing. I know they can make power and they have potentiality out there, but I never really got into it. I'm not going to lie to you. I always make a point to at least get in there and do something, turn a wrench or work on something. That's the hardest part. And that's what I'm always trying to teach here on the channel. Like this thing behind me right here, I haven't touched my white car since I stopped racing it last October, November. And I got a box on a video that we're going to be putting parts, and I got like 3 other boxes sitting in the trailer. So there's going to be kind of a push of videos coming, including some videos for Stiflers here, one of the sponsors of the channel. So got some videos coming for the white car that I need to just get it done. But I got the coupe. I'm trying to, you know, make sure it's in the right direction. I got the black car that I'm messing with right now, trying to work some things out. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough to find time for that. Nick, polishing my upper plenum, and that takes forever. Yes, polishing is brutal, but when you do it right and get it done, it looks amazing. Budget Dom, in my opinion, if you're going to do a big upgrade, always wait till winter, because it's no fun seeing your car sit in the garage. That's correct. Can a lifter knock? I checked my oil and it listened underneath my oil pan for a knock, yet there was no metal pieces in the oil pan at idle. You could have a collapsed lifter, that's for sure. Starting my turbo rebuild, what pistons do you recommend? So many choices. To be honest with you, man, if you're going to do a stock bottom end like rebuild, like where I do like a flip pistons, whether you flip them or not, that's up to you. It's just stuff that I do. You don't have to do what I do here on the channel. I mean, you can just put them in their normal spots. It's fine. I don't really get crazy as long as they're a good, like a plasma moly. Like I like total seal rings. They're about $1.20. I've used the cheaper rings. It is what it is. It just depends on what you're going to do with it. I mean, if you're going to boost it later on, I would consider maybe going with like a total seal ring, or maybe a JE or a Wiseco piston ring, something that this plasma moly, or, you know, something that can handle that sort of heat. You see, our heat range. You know what I'm saying? So I always stock bottom end. I always go like 5 thousandths over, because I pretty much order them plus 5, because, you know, you set them in the bore and they're pretty much dead on at like 24 thousandths gap, just because of the wear of the bore. I have a 306 I'm building and wondering what you would gap your rings to. Planning on running 10 PSI, 24. Rule of thumb, I think, is for boost, I think is 6 thou per inch of ring-ish. Does that sound right? So 24 would probably be a minimum gap, I would say. I would just gap them at 25 and be done. You could probably run 15 PSI with that. I don't think it would generate enough heat on a 306 there, for sure. Gary, yeah, man, it made it all worth it. Now I'm super motivated. That's right. That's what it's all about, man. That's what we're doing here on the channel, man. Trying to motivate, trying to go fast, you know, trying to do a little how-tos, do it yourselves. We do a lot of things here. I enjoy you guys for watching, man. Appreciate you guys. My plan is to have mine running by my birthday. Does spring need to plummet work on the fuel? Yeah, the fuel supply. You mean fuel system? Let's LS swap something. Nope. What about the bottom rings? When I say you could do like a 24 on the top, 25 on the bottom. Just 25 and 25 would be fine on a simple 306 build. Not really any real reason to overthink the ring gap. Matter of fact, I got a chance to speak to my buddy. Corey Binks this past weekend. He's putting his motor together. You guys know that's the black, like the world's fastest black Super Coupe or Thunderbird or whatever you want to call it, stick shift. And he's actually putting his motor back together, and he actually gapped his rings at 32. But he plans on running like 30 PSI. So you almost have to run a pretty big gap. It's going to see a lot of heat for sure. What's up, Lamar Richardson? It's good to see you, my man. My family always goes to bed before me. I get up every night a couple hours. Okay. So, yeah, this past weekend we spent, I don't know, 7 hours at the dyno on Friday. 6 hours? Saturday, excuse me. I didn't expect to stay there. I expected to go to the dyno, make some hits, change a little bit of my tune, and then it ended up being like, the housing. I mean, you'll see it in the video. We ended up having to change a few things, like mechanically. I think, we've had this 363 together for several years now. And I think that it's a couple of the components that were attached to it kind of need replaced. That's for sure. His two-step sounds like a machine gun going off. Corey's car is badass. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think he comes in on, I don't know, that's like 12 or 13 pounds on his two-step. No, I take that back. I couldn't tell you what it is. I think he was at, what's he telling me? I can't remember what he said, but it's not super high. How fast is he running quarter mile? The fastest 5 p.m. car. What do you mean? You talking about me? Which car? The fastest 5-speed. Okay. Corey Binks. He is running. He went 18 at like 166. Is that right, Corey? I don't remember. I don't know if he's in chat here, but he hurt the motor. Something happened. He hurt the trans too, to be honest. But he's coming out. He's a little bit lighter this year, and has got a fresh rebuild. He fixed his problems, so he's going to be a high 7-second car. So I mean, that car's nasty. It's nasty fast. Like, I think he plans on going to. He's going to be at Ford Takeover. If you guys, he's going to be at pretty much all my no prep events, I would imagine, whether he's racing or not. If you remember, Corey, he was the guy who was pouring my puddles for 4 or 5 of the races last year. It was pretty dope. No, he went 18 at 3-pedal throwdown at Dragway 42, but most of his passes turned down. I mean, we're talking 18 or 20 PSI. The car was tuned to 30, but he couldn't get the car to go straight. So he ended up shaking it down. I think he went 18 on like 24 pounds, and he still had about 6 pounds left to put in it. So probably would have went a little bit faster, but had a little bit of issue. Did the coolant line and hoses last week. Nice. That's right. 816 or something. Yeah, it was like I think it was 816, 814 at like 166. I don't think he went 170. Maybe he did go 170. I don't remember. I know he's been fast as shit. Most of the guys that I stick shift race, like Tyler Garlock and Brian Crane and Niehaus, those guys are all 8-second stick cars, H patterns. It's hard to keep up with those guys, man. We're trying here. I figure if I can make 750, 800, like I'm already doing right now in the 410, which isn't, ungodly amount of horsepower, and I make the car go A to B, and it's lighter weight than most of the other cars, it might actually stand a chance. I don't know. I couldn't get the white car to go straight on 750, let alone 800, 840 that it was tuned to. I mean, I think we got it up. I think we went straight before the clutch started actually giving me some problems. I think we got to about 770 horsepower on the white car. Went like 904 or something. I got like 156 or something. But it still had a little bit left in it, but it is what it is. Man, I appreciate that, Jeff. Appreciate that. That 363 is solid. Yeah, for sure. So that's funny you say that, because the 363 is going to need, like 3 years ago, we built two motors. Dave Dahl, the mad scientist, you guys know the guy who tunes with me on Binary Editor here, been on the channel for a decade plus, 15 years. Anyways, he builds race engines. I mean, not like, he doesn't really build stock bottom end stuff much anymore. He'll mess around with like the 387 was kind of like a, just because it was me and we're friends, I was like, hey, let's build something crazy. And he's like, yeah, whatever. So he put the things in the machine, but he does a lot of race engines. And he's actually done my 363. We kind of put it together. We coated the pistons. We bought a brand new crank, zero balance, because the other crank was off, whatever. Just reused most of the parts that we had. Turbo cam, big custom turbo cam that we had. 363 kind of was meant to be put together and sold. And we just ended up putting in the black car and just ended up beating the shit out of it for 2 years. So now it's kind of at the point to where we're checking like valve springs and we're checking ignitions. And it's like, it's kind of nice to be able to wear other things out without breaking shit. You know what I mean? All it takes is one misgear and anyone can win. That is correct. That's perfect example. I mean, I bounced out at second on pacemakers my last no prep end of October and lost to a naturally aspirated 347. I mean, he just didn't have enough ground to catch up. 8th mile. I mean, quarter mile I would have passed him at the, 700, 800 foot mark, but that's racing. So stick shift racing is, I love to stick shift race, and I'm not taking nothing from that race at all. I mean, it was a hell of a race, man. John did super well. A to B, brother. That's what it is, man. 903 at 153, I do believe, because it was at Cunley with Cousin Paul. Yeah, I had an 890. I had an 890 pass in it. I don't know why fourth. It doesn't make any sense. It's faceplated. Just go into gear. I had an 890 pass. Just didn't want it. So we're going to change some things up this year. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So I didn't get a chance to live stream last week, so I do apologize. I enjoyed the Super Bowl. I don't know if you guys watch too much football. I enjoy football. I used to coach it for years, played it for years. So I don't really get into too much sports. Like I just don't get into too much NFL much anymore. So it was great to be able to just kind of relax and hang out with the fam. Probably could have live streamed earlier in the day, but didn't get a chance to. I was building like 3 transmissions or something last weekend. If you guys followed on Facebook and Instagram, I was busier than shit last weekend. What's up, More Power? Good to see you, my man. So, yeah, we just got to stay motivated, man. We got to stay motivated to be fixing on these cars and finishing them, man. I got a lot of work to do with this car behind me. Now, this car's not going to be, my white car is not going to be like my race car for very much longer. I mean, it's not really a race car. It's like a street race car. It's whatever you want to call it. That old argument of what street is and what race is, whatever. But yeah, we're going to make the coupe much like it, just lighter. You know what I mean? Just naturally, I think a coupe is like 200 or 250 pounds lighter, straight up. My guess this year is 880s around 160. We're not going to actually change much from what we did last year with the white car this year, because we're going to go out and make it work just much. We're just going to change the suspension more than anything, because I think that was my biggest fault last year, was the fact that, my front struts were kind of shot and my rears were just single little $100 strange, which worked just fine, but I think if there was the main thing that needed to happen was the clutch needs to come out and get refreshed, which I have one sitting right there, and got to put some good shocks on it, man. Good struts and shocks. Probably pick up some ET, just changing some things and making them work. What's up, 93 Calypso Hatch? Good to see you, man. Welcome, welcome. My goal is to go from 11 to. You have the power to go 9s in like with a 17-inch wheel, dude. 650. That'll be pretty easy. All you got to do is make the car hook, man. All you got to do is make a hook and go straight. Edgar, for sure. 100%. So what else we got going on? Yeah, sorry, I didn't have like I usually like to do a live stream with like a topic. And, you know, we could talk, kind of sidebar talk with a topic, but it's been so busy. I didn't really, you know, you guys got some talks, you know, some tech stuff that you need to ask me, some questions you want to ask me from the channel, just go ahead and send it over here in the chat. I have a Holley Terminator X system on my Fox body. Sometimes my idle sticks at 1500 RPM when I come to a stop. So it's been a known fact that there's kind of a glitch in the IAC part of the Terminator X tuning, whatever, TPS, IAC. Again, I'm not super familiar with Terminator X just yet, but yeah, actually 650 is here in the chat right now, and he tunes Terminator X pretty much in his sleep. So maybe that's a question you can ask him. I'm going 11s. There's no doubt about it. I especially putting these GT40 heads on, and suspension's everything. Your car had so much room for 60-foot Dom. I mean, and you are a really budget build, so like you're the epitome of like what we talk about here on the channel. You know, it's great to see your car going, you know, A to B, you know, going fast, all motor. You know, just simply doing these little budget upgrades, you know, and keeping in mind that light is might too, you know what I mean? So what's up with the weather there? You get any snow yet? Aren't you normally covered? We've got plenty of snow, Mike. Actually, right now it's like 50 degrees. We didn't really get much snow like total this year. We just got, you know, like hammered for a week and then it would go away. It would be like 50 the next week. So it was really kind of wonderful for the most part, not to have to deal with too much snow. I was driving, I don't know if you guys watched the short that we put up, but we drove the white car in snow, and I think I labeled it like slicks versus snow. It was kind of funny. I didn't spin one tire that day, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm making sure that I can hear y'all. So where are you at with your build, Mike? Got it finished? I know. When are you going to the dyno, Edgar? 650? Thoughts on tuned chips from Bama Tuners, American Muscle? Okay. As far as like mail order chips, I would say you're going to get something from it, but it's not for the money that you would spend on it. Remote tuning and tuning like that would just kind of get you in a generic area, like as far as like your build's concerned. It's kind of very vague, but best thing you could probably do is just take your car to a dyno and just have them chip tune it. Just be done with it. Or, you know, learn how to, you know, maybe put a Terminator X in there. There's no easy street to making your mods work. I mean, there's some like little budget tricks you can do, like fuel pressure and locking timing and stuff like that. You know, but mainly that's for like boosted people at like under 10 pounds or 8 pounds or whatever. I mean, we did that with Dad's car. We controlled 24s using a 19-pound injectors. We were choking the bigger injectors, but they were spraying more fuel. You see what I mean? So it takes a little bit of know-how, and you know, to be honest with you, that's part of the fun with Fox bodies. Mike, 68 degrees on Thursday. Not too bad in February. That's for sure. 70 today in Cali, getting better. I don't want to even hear it, bro. That's not very motivating. That's not what we're doing here after 70. Come on, man. Send some of that weather over here. I work for a highway department in Finger Lakes of. I work for a highway department in Finger Lakes, New York. I hate spreading salt. Yeah. What is it, 80 down there? Nothing like going fast, being all motor. That's for sure. Welcome to the live stream, Hanlon. It's good to see you, buddy. Tyler, love the channel. Enjoying the builds and your informational videos. I don't have a Fox body, but I have a 66 Coupe doing a T5 conversion and blowing out the 289. Nice. 289. One of my favorite Ford motors. I have a Windsor Junior heads. What's the best lifter and roller rockers to use? I got 2 or 3 sets of Windsor heads, and I think we just used the 3/8 studded whatever I had, to be honest with you. I mean, they're Windsor Junior heads. If they're the cast iron heads, which I'm pretty sure that's what you mean, I think they're just a step up from GT40, and I think that's stud mount. So maybe, you know, run with a Crane or Harlan Sharp or Scorpion. You know, you can run with a number of good brands that I've used in the past. Hanlon, I'm trying to shifting the hell out of Oscar, I'm seeing electric cars coming out of the lake or coming out like the new Corvette. Do you think we'll have gas cars for a couple years? I'm worried of investing in a Fox. Listen, I don't think I would worry about the genre. Like, the Fox bodies aren't going anywhere. Camaros aren't going anywhere. You know, I don't foresee, you know, with technology and the way, you know, it's kind of tough to even talk about because we really don't even know where it's going yet. Like, I dig the electric stuff. I think it's cool, but it's got its own place. Do you see what I mean? You can't just switch everything over to electric. Then, you know, one of the issues that we're talking about now, hear me out. What happens when everybody's EV, right? Or what happens when everybody has an electric car at their house, right? That changes the power grid. Like, there's so much voltage, wattage that's going to each single house to just to fuel their vehicle that they're going to have to change mass wiring and mass power grids. I mean, I don't know if you've thought about that, but I mean, you almost have to run like solar panels just to power your EV car up. So, I mean, it's got its place, man, for sure. But as far as Fox body is concerned, I don't think I would worry about it. Most likely be something like, I don't know. I'm just kind of theorizing, you know, kind of just theorizing here. You know, I think there'll be like a year cut off where, you know, kind of like they did with emissions. I think emissions was like, you know, anything past like a certain year, they don't even do emissions on anymore. Like, I mean, outside of like maybe the bigger states like California and Texas and stuff, I'm not talking about that, but I think in Lake County, one county over that still does emissions, I think there is a, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there is a cutoff. Like, you know, if it's older than 96 or 98, then they, to even get those parts to make those cars emissions legal anymore would not ever happen because they stopped making them. Let me catch up here. Ever have any young kids trying to race around town? Always. And there's nothing wrong with that. You get that in every town. You know, I don't condone it, but whatever. Putting aluminum head during doing a hydraulic lifter setup. Putting aluminum head doing what? What do you mean, Tyler? Waiting on a few guys. I'm looking for someone to work with. I need a shop that can also take in our shop project. Waiting on a few guys. I'm looking for someone to work with. With what? What do you mean? I'm done with her. She just sits. I bought a 94 OBS Chev that has my attention. Man, put an LS in that. You were just talking about it. I'm all about putting an LS in a GM product. I wouldn't mind. Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, I wouldn't mind like messing around with my diesel trucks, like my 5.9s, the old 5.9s I got outside. I got 2 of them. Well, I got a 6.7. I take that back. But I don't know if I owned a GM product, it definitely would be an IROC that was the same year as this, a 92. I think I've talked about that before. Definitely wouldn't have a 305 in it, so I guess that would be something that we could mess with someday. I don't know. So I mean, I'm a Ford fanatic. I'm a Fox body fanatic. I'll always be a Fox body fanatic. So would love to have the nemesis of the Fox body from the 80s and 90s kind of sticking around in the channel, just kind of like here. I mean, grew up. That was my first one, and I learned my first mechanical experiences were with a 1982 Chevy IROC, or excuse me, Chevy Z28, because I don't think they had IROCs until what, 86 or 88 or something like that. I don't know. I grew up with the ones that were teal or blue or whatever the hell the color they were. Speaking of which, so you guys see the picture of the mashup picture where they had like somebody had like a Camaro front end on a Fox body frame? Did you guys see that? It was like green or whatever. Did you guys see that? I thought that was a really cool picture. I'm in the process of using Terminator X and a coil near plug ignition, doing it with all the off-the-shelf parts. Nice. That's a good idea. Harlan Sharp makes amazing rockers. Yeah, that's what's actually on my 363. What's a good disc conversion kit for a Fox body? All right, let me check. Let me set up for this one. Okay, if you're talking about a rear disc conversion, probably the cheapest thing you guys could actually do, and I talked about it in my spindle video I did a couple months ago. You could go to the junkyard, and it doesn't matter if it's a V6 or a V8, just find an SN95. The only thing that you really need for the most part is the backing plates. If you look on your Fox body's rear axle, stock, modified, whatever, they got a backing plate. It's a drum brake, okay? And it's got like 4 bolts in it. If you actually take the 4 bolts off and you pull that plate off, there's just a flange there. It's got a 4-bolt flange to it. So you could actually go to the junkyard, and there's actually a bunch of write-ups here on the internet. Check out Google, whatever. You cut the bracket a specific way, and you could set the rear caliper bracket and bolt it to the back of that flange at the end of your stock axle. And there you can build your conversion. At that point, I'm pretty sure you can still use the rear brakes, calipers, in the brake brackets, and you soft line to hard line. There's a lot of things you can do right there, and it's all junkyard shit. And you don't change the length of your axles. Problem is, if you're going to stay with a 4-lug, you got to kind of source out like rear turbo coupe. You guys don't know what I'm talking about. 87, 88 turbo coupe, 4-lug rear 8/8. I think you can source out the Cobras. Is that right? 93 Cobra stuff. I think that's all kind of the same caliper bracket, rear disc, rotor. So there you have it. That's probably your best budget. I mean, legitimately, if with a little bit of luck, you could. I mean, like I said, anything 94 and up. I mean, just all you need is the rear brakes. It doesn't matter if it's V6 or V8. So always one of the best. I enjoy talking about, like, when people ask questions like that I have answers to. I enjoy giving that knowledge here on the live stream. So appreciate the question. There's not enough lithium to make batteries to convert every car. That's right. Hybrid Fox. Yeah, let me know, film, or just not make me wait outside. Let me film and not just make me wait outside. Yeah. Explorer 3-wire cam sync and Explorer crank sensor. Yeah, so 650, like I said, if you guys are out in the West, West Coast or whatever, Edgar at 650, for sure. He's got been big tuner, Terminator X, big Fox body shop. Not only Fox bodies, he does other stuff too, but You know, he's also, like I said, he's got an Instagram, pretty good following on Instagram, pretty good following here on YouTube. So make sure that you check him out. If you're, I mean, I'm on the East Coast, so it's kind of difficult to get a hold of me, you know, over here if I, you know, for work or dyno or tuning or stuff like that. So I always try to like source out, you know, friends of the channel and friends of the, you know, of the genre to make sure that people know, you know what I mean? Cody, I think it would be cool to do a Fox body front end swap on a Fairmont wagon. I dig the whole, like, I think somebody sent me a message. There was a box top. I think that's what they call them, right? Is it Fairmont? Like a 70, I think it was a 79 or 80, and it was a 2-door. I don't know much about Fairmonts. They're cool. They have the Fox body type frames, but I didn't know that that 2-doors were rare. It was like a coupe too. I was like, man, that was cool as shit. Brian Waddington, I got a 91 notchback I bought when I was 16 and daily drove forever. I have a complete SN95 swap into, but just bought a house and had my second son 2 weeks ago. Congratulations. So finding time and stuff. Yeah. So exactly what I'm talking about. Staying motivated. It's tough right now. I've been down that road, man. I've been down that road where it's just like, you know, it just seems like you don't have enough time in a day to get to your projects and get to, you know, and try to balance, you know, work and time and money and family. And man, I get it. You just stay motivated, man. Don't, you know, don't sell your shit. Don't get bored of it. Throw a cover over it. Forget about it for a while. I promise you, you'll come back to it. Everybody, John, I'm new to Fox scene. Holy smokes, guys. I want a ton of money for 94.95 spindles are definitely not cheap. But consider the fact they're a 2-year spindle in Fox bodies. It's one of the main things to switch them over. And that's even one of the main spindles used in a lot of the swaps with the aftermarket brakes, as far as like when you put them on the Fox body. It's not uncommon. It's just supply and demand. I mean, the nice thing about the 94.95 spindle, though, too, is it doesn't matter if it's a V6 or a V8. So that's always a big plus. How much turbo can a stock bottom end on a Fox body handle? That is a hugely vague question. How much turbo can a stock bottom end on a Fox body handle? How much power can a stock bottom end handle? Be honest with you, there's a number of things in my experiences over the years with tuning and beating the shit out of these little production blocks. Tuning where your timing's at, what fuel you're running in harmonics. If you want your motor to last a long time, or at least impress you for being a stock bottom end, whatever, make sure that your harmonic, you got a good harmonic balancer and a good flywheel. Just saying, you're talking 50 ounces of imbalance. So what is that? Like 3 pounds on each end of the motor? Whereas a zero balance motor would take far less, you know, shock or load because it's internally balanced. So it runs a little more natural. You know what I'm saying? Naturally, zero balancing a stock bottom end is probably impossible. There's just too much Mallory involved and too much drilling. So if you can get, you know, like I said, harmonics, what type of fuel you're running, E85 is always a really good, cheap choice. It's oxygenated, it burns cold, and you can put a lot of timing in it. But yeah, stock bottom end's going to hold some good power. Just depends on how you deliver the power. If you're just going to do a junkyard block, don't touch the harmonics. You know, if you're just going to do pump gas 91, 92, 93, or whatever you got in your area, I mean, don't run any timing. Run like 14 pounds or 14 degrees. You run a lot of timing or even run medium timing, you're probably going to split the block. What's up, Partly Cloudy 420? Good to see you, my man. Oscar, since you're a Ford guy, what are your thoughts on Ken Miles and Ford's versus Ferrari movie? I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't watch it. I don't really get a lot of chance to watch any movies. Unfortunately, that's one of them that I would like to watch. So now that you've brought it up, probably give me a little more motivation to watch it. But I'll give it a look. What do you say? 50 Tussin owns the car now, I think. Which car? The box top? Which car are you guys talking about? Y plugs for a booster 3. What? What did you say, Jimmer? Oh, what plugs for a boosted 3? Well, if you want to run Autolites, run a 103. But honestly, TR6 NGK, it's part number 4177. That's the one you need to run. Yeah, 3-bar GT40 heads. Yeah, NGK TR6s at the part numbers 4177. Save your money and just get a Terminator. Been down that road twice now. Enough in the micro for the price. So it's an awesome movie. Okay. What's up, Kent McCraney? It's good to see you, my man. We're just sitting here shop talking. Not much going on. Well, got a lot going on, but we don't have a topic for the evening outside of staying motivated during build season. Let me ask you guys this: down in Texas, Mike, I know you're probably still here in the channel, Straminsky. You guys, are your guys' tracks opening soon, or are they still open, or are they closed, or how's that work in the South? Do they stay open year round, or are they shut down for December, January, or something? That pretty much goes for anybody. Edgar, is your guys' track shut down, or you guys are running out there? Oh, sorry about that. XRP, what's that? Where's that at? Andrew, I don't think he has a wagon. He does have an LTD though. Yeah. I think he calls it failed TDs, all right? It's pretty cool. I've been watching Tussin for years. Someone in comp owns what's referred to as the Dugan wagon. It's a 4i86 GT nose on a. Oh, okay. I remember seeing that. Oh, tracks in so XRP's in Texas. You guys are running. See, that's really cool, man. I wish I had some track. You guys just had snow though recently, didn't you? Have like a windstorm or something? Cam McCraney, man, I appreciate the $10 super sticker, man. Thanks for donating to the channel. Everything that I get in the channel stays in the channel, so appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Where can I find X pipes for a Fox body without cats? Facebook Marketplace or somebody that's got them hanging on the wall? Ohio Valley not running. Donnie B in the house. Not gonna lie, my motivation was low during my 93 build, as it just seems like things were taking so long with filming everything, but getting the car running got me going again. I think that's kind of where I'm at, Donnie, too, man. I looked at my paint on my black car this past week, and it looks like trash. I mean, let me be honest with you. It's not nice anyway, but it's original. So it's got its nicks and dings, and it's clear coat peeling and whatever. But I think there's some good chemicals that I could get that'll bring the oxidation out of the paint and make it kind of shine again. I'm not real sure I'd want to do that myself. Maybe try to learn it myself, I guess. I don't really want to pay somebody to detail my car. I can vacuum the shit myself. But yeah, I get it, man. Donnie B in the house, Anderson Ford Motorsport. Yeah, you got if you guys are curious, Donnie's been putting together Terminator X kits through Anderson Ford Motorsport. So if you were interested in, I know there's been a big push about Terminator X is no longer, blah, blah, blah. It's not really the truth, but whatever. Anderson Ford Motorsport put their own kits together, so I always try to share that on Facebook when he gets more in. I think he's got a back order on some of them, so, or not a back order, but a waiting list. So if you guys are curious about that, I did want to mention that for sure today. That's one of the options for getting your Fox body running. What's up with the 387? It's funny you just said that. I was just talking this past weekend. I was talking earlier in the live stream about the 387. We've actually we changed plans with the 387. It'll actually be running sooner than it was. It should have been running sort of by now, but we were waiting on parts. We had to change heads. Remember, we had to go through those heads. We just finished them. So that's kind of like what's coming on the channel soon. We're going to do a piston the valve. We're going to do a boring how-to video on piston the valve clearance because we're going to try to put the twisted wedge inline, or excuse me, the twisted wedge old school heads on the 387 without having to fly cut the pistons. So the nice thing is, and I will tell you guys this deep into the live stream, not worried about giving something away. The 387 will be going into one of our cars. So before it was not planned to go into one of the cars that I owned. And I'll talk about that more in detail on the channel later on another video, because I'm going to be actually introducing another car to the channel, but not mine. It's kind of hard to explain. I'm beating around the bush or whatever, but we're going to get that 387 running sooner than later. It's just a matter of pulling one engine and putting the other in or not. Are the upgraded T56 Magnums worth the money versus the off-the-shelf T56 Magnums? If you're not going to make more than 750 to 1,000 horsepower, I would say it's transmissions are rated by weight. Like when they're actually rate their transmissions, I think the Magnums are only rated like 700 or 800 anyways, right? I don't know if I would spend more money. Here's the problem with spending more money on parts for T56 Mag, especially with some of the shops. It's like if you break apart like a second or third gear and it's custom made, then you might be looking up. I mean, I think some, I think like G-Force usually has most of the stuff on the shelf anyway. So, exception being G-Force, because they're, I don't even own any G-Force stuff, but I've heard tell that, you break something and pretty much get the same part the next day. So, whatever. They got parts waiting. But like Tremec, I think, just getting parts in general could take weeks or months if you break it or whatever. I guess it depends on your weight of your car and what your plans are horsepower-wise. If you're going to upgrade your T56 Mag, I mean, it doesn't hurt, to cryo treat it and polish it and all that other stuff. I think that's what you're trying to say. But, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. I got synchronized T56 297 gear over there. We put 800 wheel to, and I faceplated T56 Magnum behind me. It's seen 1,000 crank at the input. I guess it depends on what you want to do with it. How do you feel about 4150 style EFI intake setups? Is that the Spider one? Is that right? Gunnar Wilson ADAE exhaust makes an H pipe. Grant McCraney, what do you think about the, I guess, the new AFR's heads for the 302? You talking about the, what are those called? AFR, are they like, what are they called? Renegades? Enforcers? Is that what they're called? Jim or Willie. Andrew, I thought the smaller volume. SN95. It's hard to stay motivated for sure, but winter's coming to an end. Here's the thing, SN95. It's like we'll spend all winter just kind of being complacent and shit. And I'll just do that. I'll do that next week. I'll do that next week. Guys, we're on a limited time now. We're not getting any younger. These Fox bodies are getting older. Shit's breaking in them that shouldn't be breaking in them. Like, oh man, I don't know what's going on with my GT light switch now. It's falling apart and it's going to burn my vehicle down. We got to be careful. We got to check things like that. That's what we talk about on the channel. Guess where I'm going with that? We got to stay not complacent. We got to stay motivated. We got to get the wrenches out. Do the hardest part about getting something done, and this goes in fitness too. I do it, every week. The hardest part is getting to the gym. And I work out 5 days a week. The hardest part, I freaking hate running. Hate it. I love how I feel afterwards. Freaking hate it. Run 2 to 3 miles every time I run. Shins hurt, feet hurt. I'm 200 pounds, man. Come on. But the hardest part is getting my ass on the treadmill. Running the first quarter mile. And it's kind of metaphorically the same way in my life with working on my Fox bodies. I'm trying to maintain 3 of them, 4 of them, 5 of them, whatever. My dad's car, cousin Paul's car soon, the coupe build now, the black car, the white car. You know what I mean? So I feel that, man. Just got to stay, you guys, that's what this whole thing's about tonight, is stay motivated. Don't be complacent. The hardest part is to get in the damn garage. Turn the heat on, turn the lights on, sit down and just write the shit down, what you're going to do this week. Like, even if it's putting on a couple stickers. One of the things that will catch you off guard is the fact that like Donnie B was talking about earlier in the live stream. Like, he got his car running and he fell all in love with it again. He fell in love with it again. Started getting motivated. So just got to get to that pinnacle of your build. And this is like anything in life, really, but just got to get to, being Fox body related and, car related. Just got to get to that point to where, like, man, I don't want to do this. And I don't want to, I hate doing heater core. It's like the worst job ever. Well, let me just take the dash out tonight and then we'll worry about it later. You see what I'm saying? So, for sure. What's up, Nathan Tuck? It's good to see you, man. Always, guys. It's like 2 weeks and 2 times in a row in the live stream, man. It's good to see you. One of my oldest members right there, guys. Big shout to Nathan Tuck at the highest tier. He's probably been with us for over 2 years at the highest tier as a club member, man. I appreciate you, man. Whatever happened to that red coupe in the video? Yeah, that's so I will address this now. We were going to build the red coupe like we're doing the SSP now. And I actually talked to Andrew Hanlon quite a bit, because actually Andrew Hanlon, I talked to him quite a bit, like every day. He's the main sponsor here on the channel. And he's like my friend, and he's helped me grow this channel. So a big shout to you, Hanlon, Andrew, and your mom and dad. Anyways, we did bring in a red coupe, and wasn't happy with the sum of it. Does that make sense? Solid car, but I didn't like it. When I found this SSP on Facebook, like, you guys ever get like that with your Fox bodies? Like, when you bought your Fox body or you went to go buy your Fox body, did you ever just look at it and say, I'm going to own that shit and I'm going to make it awesome? You see what you guys know what I'm talking about. It's that feeling. It's like, that's it right there. That's it. When I seen the SSP and all the parts that hit and the potentiality of it, when I seen it, how solid it was, I fell in love. So this is the car I've been waiting for. It had to be, if I was going to go all in on all my chips, no parts left behind. It was going to be an SSP Coupe, and it was going to be a lightweight car that everybody would like. So the red coupe, we decided to, my dad's 72 years old. You guys, I love my dad's build here on the channel, but what would happen if we took everything that we did to my dad's car, which is a pure street car, no cage, no nothing. We just did some of the subframes and stuff, and we put it in a street car coupe that was kind of on a diet, but looked good, not stripped. Speed density, full send. Can we go 10s without a tune? You see what I mean? So that's where we're at with that. And what's up, Joseph Fields? I appreciate you, man. Thanks so much for the $10 super chat, super sticker, man. I can always rely on Jason. Jason actually sent me text message the other day in concern with some of the local events that's been happening here in Ohio. So appreciate that so much, Jason. Thank you so much. I didn't get a chance to tell you that, and I apologize. I do thank you for your voice of concern. Yeah, enforcer heads. That's what I thought. AFR enforcer heads. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. Anything that's got the AFR name on it probably is done and made pretty well. If they're $1,200 heads, dude, rock them. Rock them. You know what I mean? Try them out. Which is better in a quarter mile and daily drive? 302, 351. Let's just put it this way. 302, I've made a whole channel on the 302 here. You know, we've done, you know, many things here on the channel with a stock bottom in 302. 351 stuff, that's kind of a, you know, it's kind of a grow into motor. If you have the choice right now, like, hey, I want to, you know, build another motor because this Fox body motor's junk or whatever, definitely would go with a 351. If I had the choice between the two, like, you know, apple and apple, you know, I would go, I'm not even going to bother with the 302 because it does have a limit. It's not as strong as a 351, and it doesn't make as much torque as a 351. That's not the only reasons, but, you know, you can make, I mean, I made 1,000 crank power on a 351 junkyard block. It's sitting right here. Do you see what I mean? So the potentiality of a 351 versus a 302 is almost double. You see what I mean? So you could pretty much build a 351 for about the same amount of money that you build a 302. The problem is, you know, you have to switch some like distributors and intakes and stuff. I got plenty of information on that in the channel here. But yeah, I would daily drive. I daily drive and quarter mile track, whatever, 351s all day long. And you could even stroke them like to like a 387 or 393, 408 if you're doing a whole bottom end anyways, right? So it's the same price roughly as it is a 302 to do that. Hey, Neil, I just bought a 94 GT with the HCI and having idle surge and bucking. Okay. Idle surge, vacuum, check your vacuums. Could be a HCI, could be a tune issue too. Maybe clean out your mass air meter. Old trick back in the day was take the mass air meter off. You could actually, they make an electrical spray that you can buy for it, but I'm pretty sure you can just hit it with some brake cleaner or something. I don't know. You got to think though, you know, the mass air meter's got 2 little resistors or 3 or resistors or whatever, and that's how it knows how much. How a mass air meter works is like the computer sends it voltage, okay, and I think it's you know, how much air, or it can tell how much air is coming by the resistor by how much voltage it has to send to keep it warm or within range or whatever it is. So, you know, those things usually, depending on where your mass air meter, I remember back in the day that if you clocked your mass air meter wrong or had it off to the side or something, it kind of threw the calibration off a little bit, made a little bit of a surge. There's a number of things it can be. It's tough to diagnose that shit over the internet. You know, I wish I could help you, but if you're bucking and surging, definitely would look for vacuums first. It's always kind of overlooked to begin with. Enforcer heads are actually pretty good. Actually, Donnie, isn't Anderson Ford Motorsports an AFR? Or didn't you guys just get that distributor whatever thing going on there? I'm not sure what to call it. So I think you sell AFR products now, don't you? Enforcer heads are pretty darn nice equipped parts as unassembled heads for basic builds. Can't beat the price. You cannot. Exactly. I wish I would have got it a little sooner, for sure. I'm torn. I have a set of GT40P heads that I was going to get ported, but the AFRs are not a bad price at $1,200. Yeah. One thing that's good about GT40P heads, and I'll go out there and just kind of throw that out there. GT40P heads have always had a really good port velocity factory. Now, we're not talking about, you know, big 2-inch ports. I mean, we're talking just port velocity. For being a production head, I would have to say GT40Ps is probably the best head that Ford made for the push rod small block Ford. I'll just say that. I think the 3 bars are right behind it, or just kind of like, they're just the same head pretty much, just GT40 in general. But the P heads definitely have a great port velocity. There's a reason why they changed the plug angle. They did put some research into it. So, I mean, it is a really nice head. It is restrictive. It's not as restrictive as E7 heads or Windsor Juniors are a step up from both 3 bar and 4 bar, but you get in the aftermarket aluminum heads, you save weight, you get bigger port velocity, or you get port volume, whatever you want to call it. You definitely step in for $1,200. I mean, pretty nice deal. Give yourself a small task. If you can only get 5-10 minutes, that's right, man. Stay motivated. If you guys can, break off 10 minutes into the garage and set something up for the next time you get in the garage. That's kind of how I get shit done myself. I mean, I'll put like car parts and, tools and shit. Like it's in my truck right now. I got I call it my backtrack box. It's basically this Craftsman box that I bought just so I can like pull parts in the back, or pull parts at like the junkyard or whatever. I can just grab it. It's got like every extension and possible reducer in it possible. You know what I mean? Every screwdriver or whatever in that little box. So I got that in my truck right now with a handful of kind of miscellaneous stuff, because we just pulled a spring. I give you this little tidbit here now. We were just messing with valve springs on the black car. So, you guys will see that video soon. The reason why we were messing with it, but kind of already knew what I needed. That included a valve stem removal tool. Guys got to stick around for that. Little tip of the trade. But yeah, I just lost my motivation, but I'll be back. Hey, you just had surgery, man. You need to get better, Lamar, man. How you feeling? You feeling okay? I hope you are feeling pretty good. Brutal, what's going on, my man? Sometimes you just got to do whatever necessary to fall back in love with your car. That is correct. If you guys have been following Brutal's channel, I mean, I think he just, he'll switch up some wheels, man, and it'll just hit different. Like he'll stance his car out. He stances his car out much like I like my black car stanced out. It's just, just that profile. You know what I mean? You gotta love your car, and you gotta and that includes paint, wheels, and stance, and interior, and this is. You guys see him do it on his channel. I mean, he'll change wheels up and then he'll order new ones and have new ones. And like, I think he put those, I think one of the favorite sets of wheels that he had on one of his cars was, I think he put the SC reps that had the rivets. Is that right? I think he had it on like the Carbon Fox or something. I thought that was hot. Warren Wilson. I have a Mustang with a stock bottom end, Victor Junior heads, aluminum, trick flow intake setup. What's a good cam to use with a decent idle? Victor Junior heads, trick flow intake. Which trick flow intake? I'd imagine it's a track heat. I'd probably go with an Anderson 41, N41, or I think Comp's got a good XR cam. Trick flow stage 2 isn't bad either, but that's kind of getting up there in the lift duration area. You want a decent idle B cam, but I don't know if I'd put a B cam on that setup, to be honest. What's the cheapest aluminum heads that will be better than GT40s? Flowtech has a set, but I will forewarn you, that is one of the main reasons why we're taking Lamar's motor apart, or will, is the SSP, the car that we got, recently, obviously we've been talking, whatever. The motor that came out of it had Flowtech heads on it. Now, the guy actually had the car running for a moment, and he had told me that he got antifreeze in his oil. He didn't understand why. So I guess he pulled his heads off, took them to the machine shop, and the Flowtech heads were warped out of the box. So Pro Comps, I heard, were cool. Somebody kind of chime in here. I know there's enough people here in the channel that they can you could chime in, but I think Pro Comps aren't terrible. I mean, you get what you pay for, guys. So longevity of the car parts like that might not be there. Flowtechs, Pro Comps. I think if you were to go to a cheap aluminum head, I think AFR enforcers are pretty much your only head of choice at that point in that price range, outside of a set of good rebuilt GT40s or Windsor Juniors. See what I mean? Because you start getting into the like bigger heads like the 190s and any of the trick flows, the bigger AFR 185s and such like that. You're in the 2,000 plus range. So I hope that helps you out a lot. Super Dave, man, appreciate the $20 super sticker, man. Every week, every live stream, I can always count on Super Dave, man. I appreciate you so much. Also a member of the channel as well, one of the higher tiers too. So appreciate your you being part of the channel, Super Dave. Yeah, I don't think I would put an E cam or a B cam on that build, Dom. I think his heads are, the intake head combo would probably benefit more from like an N41-ish. I think that would be a dope ass cam for that build. Go with that one. I mean, matter of fact, Donnie B is right here in the channel anyways. Just go call him up tomorrow and order an N41 cam. I'm pretty sure he's got them in stock. Make sure you get lifters too. B cam is good for or Anderson. Yeah, so I like the B cam. Stock bottom end on a B cam. The hits, like what a lot of people don't know about a B cam is its duration. Like its duration is probably one of the better and one of the larger durations of the smaller cams, like the stage ones, the what was it, the Steeda cam I've messed with, the Lunati cam I've messed with the obviously E303, messed with the F a little bit. I think that's more up in the lip range, and I think the B cam still rivals the duration of an F cam. It's just got that hit, man. You know what I mean? My drag wheels and slicks are here. 10s are on the list for goals. Stock bottom end 302 before the 363 is finished. Hell yeah. Make sure you tag me when you go 1090s, bro. Love it. Has anyone used the Summit B303 Plus cam? Okay, you guys got to understand that the Summit B303 Plus cam, I don't think I have Daniel Robinson here in the channel. If you're here in the channel listening, Dan, he's my Summit tech guy. He's been there decades. He knows a lot about the Summit brand stuff. But the B303 cam Plus is not the actual B303 Ford cam. It's actually quite a bit more lift in duration. It's in like the 530, 540 range. Correct me if I'm wrong without looking on Google. Just got to be careful with stuff like that. Just to kind of, I'm not trying to say that that's not a good camshaft. I'm just saying that I don't know anything about that camshaft. And when I did look at it, if I remember correctly, it had considerable more lift and duration than the actual B303 cam. Pro Max heads or the Enforcer heads are a good choice. So I forgot about the Pro Max heads. Are those the Pro Comp heads? So there's Pro Comp and there's Pro Max, right? What is the weight difference between a 302 and a 351? About 75 pounds. Just wondering because the spring says yes. Just wondering because the springs say up to 540. So most springs, most like bolt-on kits are like 540, 550 lift. When you start getting into more lift, you start talking about coil bind, you start talking about seat pressure, open pressure. You see, and actually in one of my videos coming up this week is we actually sit down on one of my cars that obviously the black car, because you guys heard me talk about earlier, and we talk about that stuff, and you actually see it done in front of you. It's a lot of math and stuff involved. You probably fall asleep like I did, but you do some good math with spring rates. So Matt, I would run that combo then. It's bad math. 351 Windsor swapped 94 to 04 SN95. Yeah, we became a stocking dealer for them and Scat. So Anderson Ford Motorsport, right? Am I saying it right, Donnie? I can say that. Is a dealer for AFR and Scat products now. You know, they've got a laundry list of, Holley, Anderson Ford Motorsport products themselves, Vortec, lots of stuff, one-stop shop, guys. Anderson Ford Motorsport's been around since the 90s. They're OG, buddy. Will the on-3 turbo 302 header fit a 351 head? That is correct. Two things will happen. One, you got to modify your crossover about 3 to 5 inches, which is good because you need to chop the damn flex coupler out of it anyways. You need to mock that crossover up pretty much solid as it is. You don't really want that flex coupler in it. I know I got it on my white car still. I'm sitting over here preaching to cut it out, but I just haven't done it yet. Two, the 302 header, when you put the 302 crossover up, okay, the 351 swap, your wastegate kind of comes up closer to the frame rail. So you got to be careful. You might have to relocate your wastegate or move it down a little bit. You know what I mean? But if you have a 302 on-3 kit, from my experiences of what I've done, I've always kind of refabricated them, and I called it armored them, which means that I just put extra steel on the header to help with the anti-fatigue of the metal. Makes sense? A lot of velocity is going through that turbo kit. It's really kind of nice for stock bottom end and 351 builds, but you can modify it to fit 302. You could go back and forth between the two. So it's pretty much the same kit. The crossover is a little bit different. The wastegate location. Do you think F303 cam, too much cam for GT40? No, it's a great cam for GT40 setup. Great cam. Depends on the piston and valve clearance. No, he'll be fine. F303 pushing the envelope on clearance, but it's definitely been done there. So it's for GT40 head. I mean, obviously, you're putting it on stock bottom end or just a 302 or whatever. I've seen no issues. Matter of fact, buddy of mine here in the channel, actually, you guys seen the really, really nice, my buddy Randy, I call him Mustang Randy. He's got the stick shift Explorer motor. He's got an F303 cam in that. That's just a bone stock with rockers like we do. He changed the springs and rockers, put head studs on. He put an F cam in it. Loves the F cam. He had it in his SN95 with GT40 heads. Definitely dig it. Does some work, man. Okay, surgery went fine. What happened 2 days later? Not so much. Inspiration. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I'm glad you're feeling better. Do you like carburetors and AODs? I've never seen you with one, and I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm not. We got an AOD car here on the channel. Yeah, I'm guilty. Carburetors will skin your ass, first of all. I mean, you get them tuned in right, for sure. I grew up on fuel injection. First cars I modified, there was 10 of them before fuel injection that were. I used to hate fuel injection. That was all carburetor. But I never got into the tuning part of it, like the double pumper, Holly stuff. You know how there's so much adjustability that you can do to a carburetor that actually can make it end up running better than a fuel injection because everything revolves around it. You know what I mean? You don't have this sensor over here and that sensor over there. So it's got the pros and cons, but I don't hate carburetors at all. AODs, I don't hate them at all either. Matter of fact, Brutal here, right here in the channel, he did what I wanted to do years ago. Is he had a AOD swapped over the R70W internals. I think that's an awesome mod. I think it's probably one of the most unsung mods that you can do to an automatic transmission. To be honest with you, I think that's man. I would definitely rock an AOD with a 4R70 internals, handle 500-600 horsepower. But that's the problem is getting it done. You know what I mean? It's finding the right person to do that. What do you say? I need to find a local tuner in the Dallas-Fort Worth. Is that right? Area? So somebody tunes, know somebody who tunes down in that area. Is that right? DFW? Racing Float, Pro Max, they are pretty good. Pretty impressed with them. Like, again, you could get some of the cheaper aluminum heads to work, but consider the fact that, you got to be careful, the guides and the valves, and they may not have the top shelf quality parts for longevity, but it is what it is. I'm not going to say and knock any of that stuff. because people have done really well with that stuff and talk about it today. It's just like right now. No cams, unfortunately. Got a dip. Enjoyed hanging out with y'all. Hey, man, it's good to see you, Brutal. Buy bare heads, and I have decent machine shop build now. It's actually not a bad idea. My Dave Dog here, the mad scientist here on the channel, like he's actually buys this aluminum stock head. I can't even remember what the name of it is, and he'll actually individually buy all his valves in guides, and he has his own machine shop, so he can port his own stuff and make everything better. But he can take like this stock generic aluminum head that he buys for like $500 for a set, and he'll do all his little work to it. He'll have $1,000, $1,200 in a set of heads that'll outflow anything out there and perform anything out there that for that price range, period. So not that I'm telling you he does that for the public, but he's done that before. And he told me, he's like, I just buy all my own valves and guides and spring sets. And I could set it up any way I want at that point. I went 165 AFR ported Explorer intake and comp cam. I couldn't be happier. Stock bottom end. I bet that thing is snappy as Gary. Hell yeah. I remember, I think my AFR 165, I think the experience I had with the AFR 165s, I think mine were pedestal mount. And it was on a domed piston, Keith Black piston, stock bottom end, whatever. That thing was snappy as shit, man. Can you port 351 heads from factory and get good endurance and performance? Also, if you can change spring rates. So if you're going to mess with any of the 351 heads, period, I would, and you're going to do maybe some boosting down before it was GT40 heads were GT40 heads. The head of choice outside of the Windsor Juniors, non-aluminum, was the old C9 and I think it was DOOE heads. Am I right, guys? I think the old 351 heads were something like 70 cc's, and you could change the valves in them and cut them up, and they actually flowed pretty well. They just had small valves in them, like 172s or one. I don't think they even have 1/8s in them. But either way, you could cut them open and make them perform pretty well. You're welcome, Esteban. Got to head out, man. Have a good week. Have a great week. I'll talk to you soon, Jason. Thanks for being on the channel tonight. Dan Robinson, I made it. I'm working on damn Mopars. Yeah, we were talking about the B303 Plus cam, Dan. That Summit brand. Maybe you can chirp in real quick on one of the comments and tell us the lift of it and what's the meaning behind it, maybe. Hey, Neo, what do you think 430 gears for the street? That is really steep gears. Like, I wouldn't suggest 430s for the street unless you were running like a T56 or, yeah, like a T56, like 266 first. That's really steep. You're going to be in first gear for 10 feet. If you're an automatic, that's still a little steep, but it'll be pretty awesome in an AOD. You won't have a whole lot of, you'll be in overdrive by like 60 miles an hour. I'm just kidding. What brand TFI module do you recommend? Motorcraft? Yes. Dan Robertson, which springs should I use Summit BO3 Plus cam? Which springs should I use with the 303 Plus cam? You could probably run, so you couldn't run, I think the B303 Plus cam can still be ran with the Trick Flow 2500 100s. Mike Straminsky, Gearheads performance tune's amazing. Just don't be in a hurry. Justin Lay is NTFB's North Texas box body, right? Something like that, Mike. Yeah, Justin Lay is Justin91LX on YouTube. He also has a YouTube channel. He does. I think he's got some Terminator X stuff up there, but yeah, he tunes Terminator X very well. Yes, very. Yeah, DOOE heads. I don't think the C9 ones were the same. C9 OEs. If you guys don't know what DOOE head is, it's the 1970 351 head. You ever put Cleveland heads on a 302? No, but that's been done. It's kind of tough to do that, man. You got to have some really good engine knowledge. I mean, for what you get out of it. I mean, I think you have to close off the water ports or something like that. I don't think, or yeah, because Cleveland heads don't run water ports. I don't think it runs water through the cylinder head itself. Just picked up the BBK SSI intake. What do you think of that? Do you want my honest opinion? The SSI, I don't think is really a good intake for flow rate. Depends on what you're trying to do with it. I don't think I've seen a lot of people had a lot of success with it. I'm not trying to knock it, but if you didn't pay a whole lot for it, maybe flip it, sell it, and buy a. I don't know. You could probably get. I don't know, man. Intakes are getting expensive now, man. Jesus. Dan Robinson, all the Summit 303 Plus cams are all same lift as X cam. 542, only the duration changes. So there you guys have it. So a Trick Flow 2500-100 spring kit will work with that camshaft. Yeah, it's something like that. They call them cleaver or something. I think it's a 302 with the Cleveland heads. Yes, Trick Flow has a cheap dual spring. I'm not sure the part number right now because I'm driving. Yeah, it's Trick Flow 2500-100. So that's from Summit Tech right there. All right, so we got about 5 more minutes, guys. If you guys got some shop talk tech questions, that's basically what we're doing here right now tonight. I had a good time talking to you guys tonight. You know what I mean? Stay motivated. We've been sitting there, man. Spent probably 10 hours this past weekend wrenching on that black car. I must have came back and forth to the dyno shop 5 times, you know, because I only live about 5 miles from it. And it's just, you know, I had to go get this, had to go get this, had to go get this. It's just, but we put that on the channel. You know, good, bad, or indifferent. The videos that I'm going to bring to you from this past weekend with the Black Fox body ain't nothing that's going to be super impressive. I'm going to tell you that right now. There's going to be some disappointment in there. And, you know, but I'm going to bring that shit to the channel. I mean, whether I make 1,000 horsepower or make 500 horsepower, whether I win a race or lose a race, it's all about the channel is just all about, you know, what we're doing here. It's not about me always winning or making the most numbers. You know what I mean? I try to keep you guys motivated. I try to stay motivated myself. The nice thing about having a channel and having a good following here on Instagram and in Facebook and here on YouTube is the fact that you guys motivate me too. Not only do you motivate me to do work on my cars, but you motivate me to make film about it. And they kind of go hand in foot. So I want to say a big shout out to all you guys. I appreciate all you guys who follow me here on the channel, who take the time on their Sundays to hang out with me and talk some shit in the shop, have a little bit of fun, you know, talk a little bit of Fox body, talk a little bit of car mechanics. That's what I grew up on. And, you know, so big shout out to you guys for motivating me. You know what I mean? This SSP build has been something that I've been wanting to do for many, many years. It's probably been a good 15 years. I've owned the white car for probably 23 years now. I've owned the black car for 12. Pretty much when I bought the black car, I was looking for a coupe then. There's a motivating factor behind the SSP. I had a dear friend of mine that used to be here locally that had an SSP as well. And he used to be one of the fastest, if not the fastest cars in town for many years. So I do miss him. And kind of motivated. I figured if I found my cop car, if I found my SSP, that I was going to go all in, just chips all in. So, yeah. Yeah, what he said right here. The 2500-100 springs are the springs that I use on my GT40 rebuilds all the time. They're our drop-in spring kit, set the 1.8 tight. We actually set ours to 1.78. We tighten them up pretty good. What's the best and cheapest pedestal mount wheel rocker that won't break the bank? Listen. Don't buy anything. Go find yourself a set of F3ZE freaking pedestal mount Cobra rockers. Be done with it. They're not easy to find, and they'll probably be $200 or $250. But those are made by Crane, and they got a Ford number on them. They're a 172. You can thank me later, brother. You have to open up the water port, kind of wobble it out to use the gasket for the Cleveland. That's what I thought. It had something to do with the water. Hell yes. Love the chat. But man, I appreciate you, Edgar. I appreciate you sticking around this whole time, man. You'll be able to live stream soon. You should just give it a shot, man. Get out there. You got a big following out there on the West Coast, man. Again, San Francisco Bay, 650 Motors, Terminator X, lots of Fox Body aftermarket stuff. You got to follow his channel over on Instagram, mainly here on YouTube. He's putting a drift Fox Body together for another content creator. Shout out to that, man. That build is badass. So you guys got to go check that stuff out. He's going to be heading to the dyno too with his 363. So it's going to be pretty interesting stuff to go on his channel. So appreciate it. Keep working hard, Edgar. I appreciate you. What gear does that white beast have behind you? 355. 650. Your content, bro. Wish you were a bit closer to Southern Cal. Man, take the trip, bro. Actually, I am running an AOD with 4R70 internals. Nice. Looking to have a fun street car pretty much stock. I'm going to be honest with you guys. If I do go automatic at some point in one of the cars in the future, because you never know what will happen, I will do something like similar that Nakia did with Brutal on the Brutal's channel, you know, with the Carbon Fox. That's a badass transmission. Matter of fact, I was super jelly when he got that because I was like, man, that's something that I would love to have and I would actually do. It's just finding the right person to build some cool shit like that. That ain't easy. So big shout out to him for making that move. Record yourself working. Sound like a scary guy and talk to your show. So I'm going to watch it. All right, guys, again, I want to make a special shout out tonight to, all right, we got a new member in the house, Steven Spangler. Thank you so much for joining the channel tonight. Appreciate you. Kent McCraney, $10 super sticker. Appreciate you for donating to the channel tonight once again. Jason Fields, once again, hitting it up, hitting that $10 super chat, and Super Dave with the $20 super sticker. Man, I appreciate you guys. Money for the channel stays in the channel, helps me to go to events and meet some of the subscribers and some of the other Fox Body people. So appreciate you guys. Anyways, yeah, you guys motivate me. You guys, you know, it helps me make content here on the channel. I'm going to be honest with you, until my YouTube channel like kind of took off in 2019 when I started actually making content again, like I would be super lazy and super complacent, like about putting my Fox Bodies together. And I've had this for like 23 years. So you can imagine how many times we've changed shit on this car. So I do want to thank you guys once again for joining me tonight. We're going to get back on a little bit of a, I'm not sure what we'll talk about. I'll hit you members up this week. We'll talk about something next week on live stream. We might even do a working live stream of some sort, because I've been wanting to do that recently. I was actually going to do the live stream from the dyno shop when I was messing with the valve springs, but it's kind of hard to try to work and try to answer questions and talk to you guys in live stream. So may even have a guest next week. I haven't had a guest in a while. I would enjoy having you know, another guest on the channel. So you're a 387, so no name. You're a 387. What top end would you use for off-roading cam heads intake? So like what top end would you use? So it's just whatever's available, whatever you got running. I mean, if you're gonna, you say off-road cams heads intake, what do you mean? Like in a truck? That's kind of a different setup, isn't it? Been watching Edgar's updates on Mike's car. Yep. And his new turbo housing you got from you. Yeah. So we just put that same turbo housing on our 363. So that's going to be in the videos coming up this week. Is I actually got a bigger housing from Precision that, well, you guys have to watch the video to find out. It's not exactly tale of two housings. What's up, Frank Three Stangs? Thanks for, I mean, I appreciate you, Nick. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here today. I appreciate everybody for, you know, being on the channel tonight. Got I got actually 3 or 4 videos coming up this week. Got a couple shorts, some cool stuff. Got a video from the, we're going to be posting on Instagram and TikTok and here on the YouTube shorts from our little dyno session this past weekend. So anyway, without further ado, stay motivated, guys. It's already February, well, it'll be 20th. Tracks open up in a little over a month. Some of the tracks in the South never even closed. Stay motivated. Don't be complacent. Try to balance that time. Try to balance that family. Try to balance that money. Make it happen. But outside of that, guys, I appreciate you. I will see you guys soon this week in the videos. Stay motivated. Thanks for watching.